22% of Brits think immigration levels should remain where they are. 69% think that most illegal immigrants do not share the same values. So, yeah, I mean, when was that? Was it Newsnight? This was forever ago that Newsnight did a phone-in survey, a text-in survey or something, and it was how many people think that multiculturalism has failed. And this must have been at least 5 years ago. It was like 89% of respondents thought that multiculturalism had failed. And I have to assume that if you did the same thing again, that did seem kind of high to me at the time. Like, okay.
It might seem kind of low nowadays. Yeah. And look, again, I think it's important to delve into the nuance of it, because a lot of people who haven't looked into this properly, what they think multiculturalism means is like black people and brown people being in the country.
Correct.
That's not multiculturalism. That's a multi-ethnic society, which can work. Absolutely can work. Multiculturalism is the idea that actually there's no such thing as British culture. There's no such thing as British identity. There's no such thing as British values. And what we really need to do is just bring people from all over the world and say, oh, you want to practice your religion, your culture, your this? That's great. Everybody live in their own ghetto, and we're all living this beautiful multicultural utopia, and diversity is our greatest strength. Mm-hmm. Diversity is not a strength.
Why?
Because I remember this great scene from Game of Thrones. Have you seen Game of Thrones? Do you remember when Cersei and King Robert, they're discussing the potential Dothraki invasion? Mm-hmm. And she goes, yeah, but we've got 5 times as many. We've got 5 kingdoms. They've got just the one. And he goes, what's a bigger number, 5 or 1? And she goes, 5. And he goes, 5, 1. Right. Unity is a strength when you're attempting to do things. Common purpose, common values, a sense of shared identity. These are things that allow you to overcome difficulties. One of the reasons the concern about immigration is as high as it is not just the levels of immigration, it's also the fact that Britain has become poorer. Our GDP per capita is lower today than it was in 2008. In other words, people's living standards are being eroded for reasons we can get into. So addressing that requires quite a lot of difficult challenges. We've got a bloated welfare sector, so you're going to have to deal with the fact that far too many people are not working and being paid not to work. You're going to have to deal with the national debt, which is way too high, the deficit. You've got like big challenges, right? And those challenges are quite easy to overcome, comparatively speaking, when we all feel like we are ultimately, at the end of the day, this is our country and we're going to sort it out. But if we have become multicultural in that everyone really only cares, we keep hearing from politicians, we need to look at the concerns of the British XYZ community, British Jewish community, British Muslim community, British Pakistani community, British Hindu, all of this stuff, right? Then we're no longer British people trying to sort the same thing out. We're people who are looking out for our own community. Our own community is Britain. That's what we should be looking out for. So diversity can be a strength in one sense, which is when you bring in people of talent and drive and ambition from around the world, and they all buy into the values of that place and then pull together in one direction. That's a strength. Just bringing lots of people from around the world and then not integrating them and not encouraging them to become British, and also bringing people who are probably not easily integratable into our society. That's not a strength, that's a weakness. So that's a big part of the problem that we have, is multiculturalism is essentially an ideology of divisiveness and disparity instead of an ideology of cohesion and unity. And if you want to solve problems, like you've got a big team working on your show, we've got a team working on our show. Imagine you just had 15 people working for you who all had the exact opposite ideas to each other of what's right and wrong, what direction the show should be moving in, who should be presenting the show, etc., etc. That would never work. So diversity is a strength in that you've got some variance of opinion. You don't have only one opinion about things, but there's a limit to everything. And we've gone way past that limit. So multi-ethnic society is fine. No one's got a problem with people with different skin colors per se. The problem is ideology and worldview, and those have to be aligned for people to be able to work together well.
Are Britain's core values at risk of disappearing? Is that a real concern?
Well, what I would say is Britain's core values are actually kind of become quite impossible to define in public. So that to me seems like a problem. I keep every guest we have on Trigonometry, I'm like, what are British values? And I don't blame them, because I'm not sitting here with like a coherent vision of what it means to be British. But one of those things, and it's interesting because this is what you asked about, is you talk about people's concern about illegal immigration, 69%, whatever, and they're not compatible with British values. Well, as you well know, one of I would say probably the core British value is a sense of fairness and orderliness. And which has manifested itself in the idea of queuing properly.
Love a queue.
Love a queue.
Yep.
And Britain, and it's like a hack joke that everybody does about Britain. British people love queuing, blah, 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 blah. But if you think about what queuing is fundamentally, queuing is civilization. Queuing is civilization. It's a process by which we go from the law of the jungle, who's got the sharpest elbows, who is going to get to the front of that line by being the biggest, strongest, roughest, most violent, etc. And it's a way of saying we're actually going to have a civilized society. We're going to do things in order. We're going to respect each other. We're going to be tolerant of each other. And by the way, in that process of spending time together, waiting collectively for something, we can all talk about how terrible it is. And through that, we actually bond and connect, and we kind of connect them with the people around us. So illegal immigration is fundamentally antithetical to what it means to be British, because it's about respecting the law and it's about fairness. And
as opposed to jumping the queue.
As opposed to jumping queue. And I'll give you an example. My mother applied for a visa to come here 2 or 3 years ago to spend time with me and my family, right? And despite, I don't know, maybe there was something imperfect about her application. My mother's been to the UK dozens of times. She's got plenty of things to do back home. She's no intention of staying and working in the Uber Eats economy, I assure you, right? Her application was denied. And I'm having to spend quite a lot of time and money to get that sorted so that she can come. While at the same time, tens of thousands of people are getting on a boat in France and coming here illegally. I just don't think that's where the British people think the system should be at.
You've probably heard me talk about Element before. Come on. Frankly, that's because I'm dependent on it, and it's how I've started every morning for the last 3 years. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mixed with everything that you need and nothing that you don't. Each grab-and-go stick pack contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium with no sugar, no colouring, no artificial ingredients, or any other junk. It plays a critical role in reducing muscle cramps and fatigue while optimizing brain health, regulating appetite, and curbing cravings. The orange flavour, in a cold glass of water is like a sweet, salty, orangey nectar. And I genuinely feel the difference versus when I've started it and when I've used it and when I haven't. Anyway, they've got a no questions asked refund policy with an unlimited duration. So you can buy it and try it for as long as you want. And if you don't like it for any reason, they will give you your money back. And you don't even need to return the box. That's how confident they are that you'll love it. Plus, they offer free shipping in the US. And right now, you can get a free sample pack of Element's most popular flavors with your first purchase by going to the link in the description below, heading to drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. That's drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ooh, a tasty morsel of a conversation for you there. Well, full meal available right here. Go on. Press it.